Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Valentic's out-of-the-box Workforce Planning Accelerator powered by the Anaplan platform. Today we're focusing on the piece of operational workforce planning. That means looking at headcount and FTE planning on a 1 to 3 year time horizon, as well as personal cost budgets. When looking at operational workforce planning, we are jumping into the role of a line manager or HR business partner responsible for one or multiple cost centers. We can select between our cost centers that we have access to on the right side. In case we have access to higher aggregation elements, we can also select them freely, and we see that our KPIs and tables change accordingly. In this case, we want to plan our TSD alpha cost center. We can see we have a gap to our FTE target of -1.6, and we have a current attrition rate of 2% in regards to all position types, but we can also go ahead and select permanent position types to look at those figures only. In addition, we have some graphical visualizations such as the personal capacity development, the headcount distribution, and my personal favorite, the personal capacity bridge. This personal capacity bridge highlights for me as a line manager how my headcount, or in this case FTE, changes over time. So in the previous year, we started out with 21.6 FTE, and then given certain actions such as FTE changes and transfers, we ended up at 21.1 FTE, meaning a net loss of 0.5 FTE. When we're now looking at our gap to our FTE target, we want to close this gap. And this can be done by planning actions on a position level. So let's go ahead and do that. In the position planning, I can now go ahead and look at concrete positions, in this case a software engineer, filled by the current holder Sophia Williams, and I can go ahead and change different attributes. What automatically happens when changing these attributes is that personal costs are calculated. For example, if we're now looking at August 24, we see that we have an FTE change from 1 to 0.5. And this results also in a salary change accordingly to 3,125. And also all personal costs that are related to the salary will also be decreased accordingly. This calculation is done fully automatic using a cost configuration table in the background, which is legal entity and country specific. In addition, we have the option to integrate manual overrides in case we have special cases, such as here after this termination in October, where we have a one-time payment of 150 euros done via an override. Besides changing attributes and cost values, we can also go ahead and create new positions, which is what we will do using this action here at the top. Using our create new position action, we have the possibility to create many positions in one dashboard in a very efficient manner. For this, we can just select a reference position, for example, a Java developer, and we can go ahead and set a start period, for example, May 24. We can then go ahead and copy this position, because in this case we do want to have 3 of these, and we can then also change singular attributes like the location, in case we want to say that we're actually looking at this position in a different location, which would be New York City in this case. We can then go ahead and set approvals. This we can do because we are the line manager of that cost center, otherwise we would have to request approval. Then all we need to do is create these new positions, and within a few seconds we have 3 new positions in our system. The personal cost overview gives us as a line manager transparency on different KPIs. For example, we see the gap to our cost target, and we also see the total cost per FTE benchmark to similar cost center. In this case, we are higher in costs than other typical cost centers of our type. We can also see the different cost elements, and we can apply different filters in regards to the periods as well as the hierarchy level of the cost elements that we do want to see. We also have different visualization options regarding the split of costs for position types or also cost element types. And we also have the possibility to apply overrides in case we want to change certain numbers. My personal favorite is again the personal cost bridge here at the bottom, where we really create transparency between what were the costs last year and in the current year, and what are the different drivers for these cost changes. This is a discussion that is typically had with finance because they are very interested in understanding why do personnel costs change year over year, what are the drivers. And this really gives some transparency. Right now we only have 6 buckets, but this can be increased or decreased accordingly based on the needs that you have. Besides this visualization that I just showed, we can now also move ahead into the actual reporting, which is very useful when talking about planning discussions with different stakeholders. The management reporting is a great tool to leverage in different discussions and meetings with interested stakeholders to present your planning results. For example, in our personal capacity report, we can see the numbers of our plan directly in this report. And what is great is we have a direct connection between this report and our planning, meaning that any changes, even last-minute changes, are automatically reflected here. And another big benefit that we have is we have our full dimensionality, meaning that we can change what position types we want to look at, or also what aggregation and cost center we want to look at. For example, this profit center above our cost center. Another nice thing is that also the text here on the left side can be driven from the planning, meaning that any comments that you enter can automatically be shown here as well. We can have a very similar view also for the personal costs, where, for example, we can see that the year's salary round was above average with an increase of 5%. And also this is something that can be driven from the planning inputs that you made. We also again see your personal cost bridge and our key KPIs depending on the different dimensionalities and attributes that we select at the top. That was all for this very short demo of a Workforce Planning Accelerator powered by the Anaplan platform, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.